The order appointing a physician or mental health professional. This is in regard to a guardianship or conservatorship matter. Hi, I'm Darren Findling of the Probate Pro, and we're going to examine SCAO form, State Court Administrative Office Form PC-629. This form is an order, which means it wouldn't be a document that a layperson would generate, but rather the court would create and enter appointing a physician or a mental health professional in regard to a guardianship or conservatorship matter that's pending at the court system. Now, guardianship relates to the care and well-being of an individual. Conservatorship relates to the financial and legal matters of an individual. With all of these SCAO forms, they are created by various statutes and court rules. In this particular case, MCL 700.5304, MCL 700.5310 subsection 4, MCL 700.5406, and the relevant court rules, Michigan Court Rule 5.121 and Michigan Court Rule 5.405 subsection A. These statutes and court rules give rise to this particular order and identifies that the order that appoints a mental health professional or physician in regard to a guardianship or conservatorship matter, that the court may receive into evidence the report of that physician or the mental health professional without testimony, and that there are certain rules under the rules of evidence as to whether kind of the probative value and the evidentiary value of these reports, as well as the statutes define and explain when a mental health professional has provided a report and or a physician, who has the right to review it, the right to cross-examine the information contained within it. So let's work our way through the order and see what we can discern from the order itself. Top left corner is the county upon which the matter is regarding, and the file number is simply the case number. GA for adult guardianship, CA for adult conservatorship. The same physician or mental health professional may be appointed in both files in the event that there's a matter involving an alleged incapacitated individual and an individual alleged in need of protection. In the matter of is simply the name of the person that's the subject of the pending petition for guardianship and or conservatorship. And then there's a little checkbox on the far right. Again, both of them could be checked, or one or the other could be checked. The date of the upcoming hearing and the judge assigned the matter. Pretty straightforward. Below, it identifies that a petition to appoint a guardian and or conservator for the individual has been filed, and there's a hearing that's coming up, and that under number 3, it appears to the court that an examining physician, a visitor, an examining mental health professional should be appointed. So again, each of these terms kind of have their own meaning. A mental health professional, pretty obvious, a physician, a visitor, which can give more context and information to the court as it relates to the pending petition that has been asked to establish guardian and conservatorship, and the burden is clear and convincing evidence. So this physician report or mental health report is really potentially a very important aspect to the upcoming petition that's been filed. Here is simply the order section. Who's been appointed? What's the name of the physician or the mental health professional? And are they identified as the examining physician, visitor, mental health professional, and that there's an upcoming proceeding. And of course, the requirement is that it's supposed to be filed at least 5 days in advance of the hearing. Further, under subsection 5, it provides that a visitor is appointed and shall write a written report, again, if that is relevant in that context. Also, I mentioned a little bit earlier that there's a requirement for the report to be submitted within 5 days to give the court time to review it, as well as to give time for people to assess the contents of the report and then be able to cross-examine the contents within it. And then, of course, if that person is required to attend the hearing, if the court is ordering that professional to be at the hearing. So there are certain rules that relate to the admission or admissibility of these reports, and then also as to what we call certain privileges that exist, that are typically provided and that exist within a physician, patient relationship. And specifically under the court rule MCR 5.405, it provides a report ordered by the court may be used in a guardianship proceeding without regard to any privilege. Any privilege regarding a report made as part of an independent evaluation at the request of a respondent is waived if the respondent seeks to have the report considered in the proceeding. So if the respondent, the person that's the subject of the petition, says, I want a mental health evaluation done to counter the petition, there's a waiver of the privilege. Now, you can understand why this is so necessary for purposes of these types of examinations, especially issues relating to mental health. They can be quite sensitive and quite private. In addition, the court rule provides when hearings are not held in the courtroom where the court ordinarily sits, the court shall ensure a quiet and dignified setting that permits an undisturbed proceeding and inspires the participants' confidence in the integrity of the judicial process. Really an interesting statement within the court rules, trying to raise the level of, as they've used the term, dignity, and also raise the level of confidence within the proceeding itself. So again, an interesting piece of Michigan guardianship law, Michigan conservatorship law as it relates to the order appointing a physician, visitor, or mental health professional used specifically within the guardianship context. Often people will contact our office and speak about asking to terminate their guardianship that they're under. And although a doctor's note or letter is not a requirement for the termination, it is quite helpful and creates quite an influence on the court when doing so. But this particular order relates to the initial petition that has been filed seeking the appointment of a guardian and or conservator. At the Probate Pro, we are passionate about everything probate. If you have questions about this particular process or any probate or trust related issue, visit us at theprobatepro.com or call us at 1-833-PROBATE.